This is what our listing with variation looks like. So in this listing, you can see there are lots of different colors. And in this listing, you can see there are colors, but there are also different sizes. So there are lots of different ways that variation listing would look like. It depends on your product, how you want your listing to look like. You want either colors or you want color and size. So all depend on your product. So in this video, I'm going to show you the two main ways to create a listing with variation. The one way you can create a listing is using the Amazon front end, or you can use a back end. Both have their own benefits. So I'm going to show you how you can do both, and at the end of the video I'm going to show you my way that I use, which have a mix of front end and back end. Before I show you how to create variation, if you are new to this channel, my name is Adnan and I've been successfully selling on Amazon from last 4 years, and I've created this YouTube channel to show you the tips and tricks I've learned over the last 4 years. Some of the tips have taken me months to learn and also cost me a lot of money. So make sure to subscribe to this channel so you can save a lot of time and money. So let's go to the screen and I'll show you exactly the way to create variations. Let's suppose we're trying to sell a water bottle and it has 10 different colors. So how are we going to do that? So how variation works is you have individual products and then you have a parent listing, which basically holds all these individual products, which in Amazon language, Amazon calls it children. So you've got a child listing and you've got a parent listing. So parent listing is basically a dummy listing. It doesn't really have a sales page. It's just there to keep all your other pages together. So the first method I'm going to show you is the front end. I find it easier to do it. What we need to do is go onto the menu, and then on the menu, you'll just click on add products and you'll come to this page, and then we'll just type water bottle and then go down at the bottom here and we're going to do create a new listing. And here what you're going to do is you're going to give a item name. So item name is basically the title of your product. So we just because we're trying to create a parent here, and the parent is not visible to the actual customer. Any title you put here, it doesn't really matter because the customer will see the title you put in the child listing. So we're just going to put water bottle. So once you type water bottle, Amazon will show you that this is the subcategories that the water bottle can fall. So if you are happy with that, click confirm. If you think that's not the correct category, you can also go select other, and in others, you can go and type water bottle and you can select the category you think is right for your product. If you're not sure which category to pick, the best way to do is just look at your competitor and see what category they are in. And to do that is go on your competitor page. So if you go down to the page, you'll see this section. It's called product information, and here you'll see a bestseller rank, and you can see that this water bottle is in canteen and water bottle. If you click on it, you can also see you can see how it's in sports and outdoor, and then in sports and outdoor it's in camping, and in there it's in canteens and water bottle. When you go back, you can see which category you think is right for your product. So the one Amazon picked was actually right, so we're just going to select that, and then you'll see more options. And then what we need to do is we just need to click on this product has variations. So if you click here, you'll see that Amazon will now show different options. So if you are creating a variation with colors, we're just going to click color. If you are creating a variation just that doesn't have any color but has a lot of size, so then we're going to click size. Or if you have a variation which has color and size, so we're going to select both. So it all depends on your product and what kind of variation you're trying to create. So to keep things simple, let's just say we select colors. So if you've noticed one thing, as soon as I select any variation here, you'll see that the external product ID disappears. So this is where basically we paste our GS1 barcode. So these are a barcode that you need to go on a website called GS1, and from there you need to buy the barcode, and on that barcode you need to paste that barcode here. But when you're creating a parent, because it's just a dummy listing to hold your other variations, Amazon doesn't need a barcode for that. So as soon as you click on a variation, let's say we click on color, you'll see that this option disappears. So now it's just asking you to put your brand name and then go to the next page. So let's say I'm gonna put my brand name there, and then I'll go to the next page and I'll show you the next step. So now what you need to do is any of these options, they are highlighted in red. These are the required field that you need to fill in. So fill these in. So when you go in variation tab, now you can see that the color is selected and then it's asking us to name the color. So let's say you've got a water bottle which has pink color. So we type pink and then you press add. You've got another one which is blue, so you just select and you press add, and you'll see every time we add a new color, Amazon will give us this new row. So here you need to write a SKU. So SKU means stock keeping unit, and this is just an internal thing that it's for us to recognize our product. So let's say I'm gonna put water bottle, and then I'm gonna make it pink, and then the other one I'm gonna call it water bottle dash blue. And in the external product ID tab, so you need to select the UPC on both. You need to paste that barcode in this field, and here you need to select new, and then your price, you just put any price, and then the quantity you can just put 1 right now. So that's your variation side done, and then rest of the fields like offer. So basically Amazon asking you to put a price here. So let's just make put a price. As soon as I put a price, the rest thing is fulfillment channel. You can do fulfill by Amazon. So fill all these required fields that are in red, and once you've done this, just press save. And once you press save, after 5 to 10 minutes, when you go back in your Seller Central, and if you go back on the menu, and this time you go on inventory and manage all inventory, you will see there'll be a new listing here. It'll say variation, and under that variation, it will have the 2 child listing that we've just created. Once you've got the child listing, the next thing you can do is open the variation tab and then click on edit and go on edit listing. And then when you go on edit listing, you'll get this similar page like we had when we were creating the parent. And now this time you want to fill as much information as possible about your listing. And this is what customer will see. So you need to make sure you put the right title. You need to make sure you go in the description, you put the description, make sure you put all the bullet points. This is where you can upload different images for your child listing, and fill all this information. And then when you press save, now you'll have a page would look like this, and it will have your water bottle, and in the color name you'll be able to see pink and black. So this is how you create a listing with variations on using the Amazon front end. So the other method to create a variation is using Amazon backend, which is called flat file. And to do that, you go back on the Seller Central and click on the menu, and this time instead of going add products, we go on add products via upload. And when you click on that, you'll see this dashboard, and here go on download blank template and select download product spreadsheet. And then Amazon gonna ask you your product name. So let's say we put water bottle, and we're gonna press search, and Amazon has selected a category. And again, the same thing, if you are not happy with this category, what you got to do is click on browse and select the category from here like we did before, and then pick the correct category for your product. But most of the time Amazon will pick a correct category for your product. So then you press select, and and here you've got different marketplace. So depend on what marketplace you're working on. I'm working on the UK marketplace, so the UK is automatically selected. I don't need to select any more markets. Here you see a new option. Amazon is trying to create a new flat file, and they're offering a beta version for it at the moment. I don't want to work on any beta template at the minute, so I'm just gonna turn it off. But if you want, you can keep it on. The only difference in the new template and the old template is the new template has a lot more options, so you'll get more discovery for your product. We can talk about that in another video, but for this video, just uncheck it and skip this and then just generate spreadsheet. So when you generate the spreadsheet will look something like this. And in this spreadsheet, Amazon has explained how this flat file works and what kind of images Amazon accepts. And there are different examples here. The main two tabs you need to look at is called template and the valid values. Now we're going to create our parent listing and our child listing via Amazon flat file. So we're going to click here, and because we've downloaded the flat file in the bottle niche, Amazon has automatically given us the option to select bottle. We're going to create our parent listing. So we're going to put water bottle parent. You can call it whatever you like. This is what I prefer to call, so just makes it easy for me to recognize. You select your brand name and the update and delete option. So there is a glitch in Google Sheet that sometimes when you click on the drop down, it doesn't show you the option. So to fix that, you just go back in the valid values and we'll go and update and delete, and you can pick one of the options that Amazon has given us. You can't make up your own options. You have to select this, and you have to be very careful that this is exactly how it's mentioned in the sheet. So I would advise you to just copy and paste instead of typing it. So we're going to select update and press and then paste it here. And then you don't need to worry about product ID or product type or anything else. Next thing we're going to do is go on the next line and then select bottle, and then we're going to call it water bottle pink. We'll select another one. We'll call this one water bottle blue, and we'll select our brand name, and then again we'll do the same. Because it's a brand new listing, we'll leave it on update. And then in this one, you need to provide the product ID type. So here you'll paste your barcode. So just select UPC and you paste it here. And then we'll select another one, paste it here, and then you just paste your barcode that you get it from GS1. You paste those barcodes here, and then you can put your title for your product. You can put the same manufacturer as your brand name, and then recommended browse node. You need to go on the browse data and then select the category that we worked it out earlier. So we're going to select this category on the browse node, and we'll paste it there. Paste that on all three. And then just fill out as much information as possible here. The main option here is that you need to click on the plus here, and you'll see it'll open more options. And here is what you need to do is you need to go back on the valid values. You need to tell Amazon which one is a parent and which one is a child. So this is a parent, and then these are the two child listing we've got. So we've got one child here, we've got another child here, and then leave this all blank. And in the parent SKU, so the SKU we created earlier, we need to select that, and we need to paste that in the parent SKU in the child section. So Amazon will know that this child has this parent. And then when you go back in the variation type, so we've decided that we're only selling color. So we're going to put a color in the variation theme, and then in the relationship type, so we're going to select variation. So we're going to copy that. We're going to copy that, and then in the template we're going to put variation there. And then these are the main 4 that you need to fill. You don't need to worry about the rest. And then in the color, this is where you would put your color. So this was pink and this was blue. And then color map is the same. When you go on the color map, you can actually select the color. So we got blue, and then we've got, you'll have a pink. So we got pink from the color map. You have to make sure you just copy pasting it and not typing it. And if this was a color and size variation, so we would have gone and selected in the variation theme, we would have selected color and size, or size and color, however you want it to be shown. And then you would also give a size. So depend on what kind of variation you're trying to create. So and then you can put all your bullet points there. So if you go on the data definition, so these fields are required. So when you upload it, if you've not filled these sheets, Amazon will reject the sheet and then will ask you to fill these columns. So once you filled all the required fields, click on the file and click on download, and Amazon accept the TSV file. Save that in TSV and go back on your Seller Central, and you'll see here that Amazon accepts Excel and TSV. I've tried to upload Excel and for some reason my Excel wasn't working, but the TSV worked well for me. So I would just advise you to just go on and download the TSV version. So once you upload the file, Amazon will show you if there's any mistakes or if there's any field that you've missed out. Amazon will ask you to fill that and re-upload it. So, and if everything is fine and Amazon will say there's no error was found, you'll just submit it. It's gonna take like 5 to 10 minutes, and after that, you'll see this option like this where it'll say that your flat file has been uploaded, and then Amazon will also give you a process summary, and in process summary you'll be able to see that what you were trying to do went through successfully. And also when you go on your Seller Central and when you go in the manage inventory column, you'll see it will be the same like when we created from the front end. You'll have a variation and then you'll have your child listing attached to that. So you would think, why would somebody want to use the flat file when it's so easy to just do the front end? Like I mentioned earlier, they both have advantages and disadvantages. So the advantage of using the front end is a lot easier, it's user friendly, and the advantage of using backend is backend has more fields that you won't find in the front end. And so it'll help you with the discovery of your product. Sometimes you'll find yourself in a situation where front end will not create a parent listing, it would only work if you do it through a flat file. So you'll have no option but to use flat file. So personally what I do, I use a mix of both. So I'll go and create a parent and child listing using a front end first. Once I've created it, once I've filled all my information as much as possible, then what I do another step is I go on the menu and then I go on reports, and you go on inventory reports. And in an inventory report, there's a report called category listing report. If this is the first time you are finding this, you might have to request this report. So just go on seller support and ask them that, can you please give me access to category listing report? That's all you need to say and submit that. And within a few hours, you'll get a reply back that they've given you access to this report. When you go back in your inventory report, you'll see this report. So click on that and then request the report. And it's gonna take 5 to 10 minutes. And once it's completed, just download this report. And when you download this report, this is basically now your flat file, but all the fields are now filled in because you've created that through the front end. So all the fields will be filled in, so it'll be a lot easier now. Any fields that you didn't see in the front end, you can now fill it on the flat file and then you can upload it. But just one thing you need to be very careful when you upload that flat file is this time you want to make sure that you select partial update. So partial update will only update any changes you make it on this sheet. But if you do a update, what update will do is update will delete anything which is not on this sheet. And so you could lose out on some of the fields that you had access in the front end and you didn't have it in the back end. You want to use a mix of both. So whatever you find it easier, do it. If you find the front end easy, like me, I prefer to use the front end. If you find it easier to do through flat file, because it's a lot easier when you have more listings to create. So if you're trying to create a listing with 30 variations, it's a lot easier to do through flat file, because then you can just copy and paste all the information and upload a file, and then you've created 30 variations within few minutes. But when you're doing it through front end, it could take a lot of time because you've got to individually put each information, so that could take a lot of time. So that's why they both have their plus and minuses, so it's up to you how you want to do it. This is exactly how you'd create a variation listing, either using the front end or back end. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you are in a process of creating a listing, you might want to watch my last video where I showed the 3 main mistakes a lot of people make when creating a listing, and some can cost a lot of money. So make sure you watch that video here, and I'll see you next time. Thank you very much.